So one of the toughest things to manage during a dark side of the soul are your thoughts. Mate, I think that they're what makes it a roller coaster ride
Yep.
more than anything.
That is.
See what I'm dealing with? But
Don't want to get in my thoughts.
you're here one minute, you're here, then you're there, you're up, you're down, you're hopeful, you're in the darkest place, and they all feel real.
Yeah,
Don't you find that?
I find that, and I feel like sometimes, are these my thoughts? Is it someone else's thoughts? How many thoughts are going through my mind? Damn. And it's like, it's just your thoughts.
You seriously think, am I ill? Am I possessed? What's going on? Because it really is like a boxing match at times.
Mm,
But anyway,
yeah.
welcome to the Awakening Table. We are Coyote and Petros, and we created this channel as a means to share our experience of going through the dark night of the soul currently, and doing this through open, raw discussion at the dinner table or in a round table style, if you will. We do this knowing others are going through it, and we hope sharing our experience may help you with your journey.
Yeah, so if you enjoy your videos and context, our videos and context, please show us some love by hitting the like and subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified with our new video. And thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting us. And today we're talking about our thoughts, our dark thoughts, the truth, and about our thoughts and how to deal with them.
I say this about every topic we talk about regarding the dark night of the soul, but your thoughts really, pardon me, are the difference between becoming a prisoner or freeing yourself. It's kind of like that, isn't it? And the irony of it all is they're your thoughts.
Yeah, they are.
Whether you realize it or not, you control them.
Yes.
What were your thoughts like for you as you've been through different stages and moments of dark night of
Oh,
the soul?
a lot of them can be like very dark. A lot of them can be like put downs, like, like it's your fault, it's you're this, you're that. And bullying, it's mainly bullying, but sometimes it's not bullying. Sometimes I get really good insights and I'm like, where did that come from? It's so cool.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. But it's like at the same time, like, whose thoughts are these? Are they mine? Like, because I have a million thoughts going in 1 second sometimes. Like, it's got to be something else, my spirit guides. I'm like, at the same time, it's kind of funny. So, but there are some challenging ones, dark ones, some really not so, like, it's mainly like yourself, you're beating yourself up and you're the boxer in the ring and with yourself. And it's like, it's not good because then when you realize that you're talking down to yourself, that these are not true, and sometimes you need to talk them out with a friend or someone that can understand or relate to you. If it's hard to find that, get some insights from friends or from YouTube channels and stuff like that.
I found with me a lot of my thoughts were very future based, like worrying about what is the future going to be like? How am I going to get through this or through that? Or if this happens, what am I going to do? Will I be able to do it? And I heard an interesting comment because for those of you who have been following us, this is our first video in a little while. We've sort of, life just sort of happened a bit. It's our first video back after a couple of months, but somewhere in the middle of it all, I heard a really interesting comment, and that comment was that our fear when we're worried about the future, we're actually projecting the past into the future and assuming that to be the truth of what will happen, or that it has to happen, or that it's our reality when it absolutely is not. So one thing I came to realize is that a lot of my fears are based on past experiences, but then there's that training yourself to stop doing that, or to manage that better and shift your thoughts to better thoughts that serve you about the future. It's not easy.
It's funny how you mentioned about what you just said before, because like I read something where was during the full moon in Capricorn just recently, and I had a lot of weird experiences that time. It's kind of cool at the same time. Not really, I'm lying if I have to say it, but I read somewhere where like the universe cannot read our thoughts or anything like that. It can only vibrate if we're in a good vibration. So if I'm vibrating on low vibrating, I'm going to attract that all the time. And at that time I was probably attracting things that I was repeating, sort of thing. So I was like, okay, I'm aware of this, so let's make a change, try like vibrate in a better vibration and think good thoughts, instead of beating yourself up, because I tend to do that a lot. I don't know if that's a survival mechanism or just how I've been in my life, but at the same time, not bullying myself, but at the same time, it's helping me to grow. So I had that kind of like message from the universe, which is kind of beautiful. It was really beautiful.
And the thing is, I mean, the thoughts can get really dark. I mean, from, let's be honest, let's call it suicide, to all sorts of thoughts. But I think, well, I know that in the heat of it all, at times, that's when I talk to myself the most, and I just try and remind myself, this isn't your reality. These are just, these are just fears. These are just concerns, and they don't have to be the doom and gloom that the thoughts are making them out to be. The thoughts are there as protectors, but they're just going too far with it. And it's just learning to not believe or attach to the thoughts so much, which is easier said than done, and it requires some of patience.
Yes, patience.
And just that conditioning and training of yourself. But I think the biggest thing I'd want to let everyone know is your thoughts aren't the truth. They're just a projected story. They're not necessarily your current reality. And even if it is your current reality, doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do or solution. I talk about our level of knowingness. We have a certain amount of things we know, but there's so much more than what we do know. So if you reach that point where you think there's nothing I can do, just means you've reached your point of knowingness. That's where you go out and explore, talk to people, learn things, try new things, sit with things. We've talked about sitting with your feelings. If you sit with your feelings and understand what's really going on, the thoughts tend to come into place together with other practices like mindfulness and whatever the case may be for you. But let us know below, what are some things you've done when your thoughts have gone too dark or have started to take over? What's something you've done that's worked for you that might help somebody else watching this? I guess the other message I'd like us to get across here is it's okay. These thoughts, you're not necessarily mentally ill or possessed or going over the edge. It's part of the process, because it's all about getting shit out. That's what the dark night of the soul is. And sometimes we just don't know what to do, but it's all coming out. So it's okay. So the thought, you can have some real devious, dark, down thoughts. That's okay.
And you know what's interesting, like with me, like my character, like I go for walks a lot, and I love doing things alone, and like sometimes I talk out loud, even on the street or whatever. I don't care who's there, Sometimes I do, like quite my voice down, but other times, like I have conversations. That's my thoughts. So I have my conversations with myself, and then I realize when I'm aware of like certain thoughts, I'm like, okay, let's see in a different scenario, like, do a different scenarios, and then have a laugh about it, because like even though they may not be true, what you've told yourself, have a laugh about it and acknowledge it and be aware of it. And then other times I'm like, where are these thoughts coming from? Maybe it's because like, if you've been bullied or if you've been told certain things in your life, like they remain stuck in there. So I think walking helps, and talking amongst yourself is okay. Like, you're not crazy, believe you me. It's okay to have that conversation, because you are with yourself majority of the time. So it's okay to have these conversations with yourself.
And it's also important to understand that sometimes the dark thoughts are caused during a dark night of the soul because we believe we need to be a certain way or meeting a certain standard, a certain something. And I would challenge, because I had to do it to myself. Like I didn't realize how critical of myself and all of that I was. You got to ask yourself, by what standard are you measuring yourself? Is it your standard? And is it a standard that helps you, that is true of you?
Mm.
And when things get really, really dark, I always like to ask myself two simple questions. What else could this mean? Or what's the best that can happen? And these are, for me, they're coping tools more than anything, because I can go into some pretty dark places with my thoughts at times and give myself some real anxiety. And it's about being at the forefront, not trying to suppress or avoid or run from the feelings or the thoughts. Certainly sit with the feelings, but challenge the thoughts. If you can't initially realize that they're just thoughts and that you're the master of your thoughts, if you don't feel that way yet, just challenge them at least. But challenge them intelligently in that you're saying, okay, I hear you, but what else could this be? And what's the best that can happen? So shift your brain to focus on something that serves you better.
Yeah.
That's sort of has helped me. It's not 100% foolproof. Sometimes you just need to just accept that the day's shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to let it pass and just say, you know what, I'm feeling like crap today. I'll just do the best that I can.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, solitude is very important. Like, if you know that you're sensitive to certain energies, like, good to have your alone time, your space, gather your thoughts. And then I've noticed, like, during my solitude time I had recently, I started to write down, like, I was reading some questions and I was answering to those questions into my journal. And I released, you know, some stuff that was kept in my thoughts into paper. And I, you know, had a bit of a cry, you know, so releasing all that. And it made me feel a bit better because it took away that extra amount of load that I'll put onto myself with my thoughts. So putting it into paper, that helped. Yeah, if there's any questions, even if it's like a dark question that you can't face, I think it's really helps to write it down and release it on paper. You don't
Because
have
then
to
you can
show.
come back to it when you feel
Yeah,
stronger or more capable of facing it. You don't have to do it all at once.
yeah,
But if you can take little increments, little steps, do it.
100%. Because like I don't normally write too much, and I think it's towards my end of my solitude. That's when I wrote a few things. So the whole time I was on my own with my thoughts. It was towards the end, and I didn't write. It wasn't that much. It was only a few topics, and that was it. And I felt a bit better. And then I said I realized that I needed to reach out to a friend, Petros, my friend, great friend he is, and you know I told him like, my friend, you're a friend with yourself too. Okay, don't forget that. Yeah, so yes, my good friend Petros, and I reached out to him and I said, no, I had my solitude time and I need to tell you what's been going on. And I usually don't like reaching out, and I thought, you know what, there's no harm in that. Let's try something different. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, a couple of things. So, the takeaway points is your thoughts are just thoughts. They're not the truth. They're not your reality. They don't need to be your reality. And even if they happen to be your reality, it's not the be all end all, no matter how dark things are. Write things down, challenge the thoughts, explore the feelings. And if you don't know which way to go or what to do, just work on yourself. Just try and be the best version of yourself you can. Keep yourself fit and healthy as you can. Um, and just understand it's okay if you're having shitty thoughts. It's okay if you're struggling and just don't have a way forward on a given day. It's part of the process. Sometimes you just got to sit with it and let it come to you. So thoughts are part of our everyday living. Yeah, no one can not think, but it's about understanding your relationship with your thoughts is what I found, um, and not necessarily running away or trying to ignore them, avoid them, but yes, challenge them, but see them for what they are, and attend to the deeper feelings. that come from the thoughts, or that the thoughts come from, I should say, and address that as you can each day. I think that's the takeaway of it all.
Yeah.
And always ask for help. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're struggling on your own, there's no shame in asking for help. It takes a bigger person to do it. I think I've said it on other videos as well.
Yeah. And I feel like, sometimes, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I like to connect with animals. And I think the more in this journey, I'm trying to realize I'm connecting more with animals. And I was like, it wasn't made up in my head. It was like, there was like real life story I can tell you, synchronicities about these certain particular animals that showed up in my life. And maybe I'll share that another time. Very interesting story. So yeah, and yeah, that's like the bird, just, or bird or dog or whatever animal it may be, is sharing is that you're doing all right. It's like, yeah, I don't know what they're exactly saying, but I know that's what they're saying for sure.
That's the intention.
Yes, exactly. So
But
yeah,
it's a time to explore. It's a time for cleansing, for facing things, and that's all good things, no matter how crappy it feels, and no matter what thoughts go through your head. But don't give up. Just one step in front of the other, a little bit at a time, chip away, you'll get there.
and you're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
We're here. There's always someone, somewhere, or someone you can reach out to. Let us know below too. We do check our comments. We might not be daily or regular, but we do check them.
And thank you for the messages. They're lovely messages.
Yeah, we've had some wonderful messages, which is great. So we're back. We're going to get regular again with our videos. We've still got lots to cover and share and explore with you. And if there is a particular topic we haven't covered, or that you'd like to know more about, or that you'd like to know because we haven't covered it, I don't know if any of that just made sense, but let us know below.
Yeah, that makes sense. Twisted way.
It got away from me. But
yeah.
anything else?
I think that's it. And yeah, just some tips on what to do. Write down some things if your thoughts are getting heavy. If you have a friend or good friend that can relate to you, reach out. Even if it's a parent, like, even though if you don't have a good relationship with a parent, like for example, like I've asked my mom questions, what was I like as a child, this and that, and you find out that like, how come you never told me this before? It's like you'd be like, wow, this is interesting. So yeah, so kind of helps you in a way, and walking, and yeah. What other tips can you say?
Well, I think I've given most of my tips, but I think those are pretty good tips too. Just the biggest thing is understand they're just thoughts. They're not your reality, and you can always do something that can either change or begin the change. And if you're not sure what, that's okay too. It'll come to you.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway,
thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Like and subscribe, share videos, and
spread the love.
Send us a comment and give us any ideas on what other topics we can bring up if we haven't covered them, like Pedro said earlier. Yeah, we'd like to hear from you guys. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, and peace be with you. Cheers. Bye.